Hi everybody, this is Ginger and this is Ginger's Chat Show. And welcome to my show. And it's Monday, it's November 13th, 2023. And a number of things have been happening today. The case against Trump on the fraud trial in New York is the prosecutors arrested their case, but hey Nancy, ratcheted their case, but now it's the defendant's side. Of course, all kinds of stupid things going on with them. Hey Dorothy. Um. So anyway, and again, Trump Jr. was called to the stand, and as usual, he puts all this junk out there and says what is not true. And you could tell he's never prepped, he's never done his homework or anything. And I'll bet you that I bet Judge Energon is going to be so glad this trial is over with and throw Trump in the lake, so to speak, of losing his business and everything. And I hope that happens. Trump needs to be taught a very, very hard lesson, and fraud is a big no-no. And I know if a narcissist like he is, he doesn't care about the rules. Well, it does apply to him, as it applies to everybody else. Now, again, I just hope that all his businesses are gone. Anything of his name on it. And I hope it spreads nationwide, because he does have a lot of his businesses everywhere across the state. Some states, especially in Florida and everything else, because he did his, it's based in New York. Hey Carol, nice seeing ya. Glad you're back. So, we'll just see how this goes on that one. Also in the news, I just happened to just catch this, the presidential candidate, Tim Scott of the GOP, he's dropped his candidacy this morning. He suspended his campaign. So that's one less to worry about. So they're down to like 4 now. Of course, there's no more debates for that. And they say, well, they're trying to distance themselves from Trump, but really, they're almost like him, pretty much. Everybody except for Nikki Haley. She doesn't attack Trump, but she just puts herself out there trying to say, hey, I could do this job. And this is what she's saying. I don't always agree with all her policies, but some of them I do. And so it depends on what her policies are and everything, how she's going to handle things. Tim Scott, no, I never really liked him either. Now, in the U.S. House of Representatives, many of the representatives there are sick and tired of the antics the GOP is doing. All they want to do is get things done and get to work. And on this quote-unquote government shutdown, you know what? They should change it to the debt ceiling and appropriations, instead of every year, it should be every 10 years. And if there's a need to adjust it, adjust it. But they need to stop kicking the can down the road. It's getting really tiresome. And well over half of them in there, which is being the GOP, need to be given the boot. We need to make it a Democratic House. and have a couple of independents in there and everything. No more. You know, this has to stop. And I also think now it has to be applied on the House and the Senate. 2 4-year term limits on it need to be applied on it. And I think Federal Elections Commission needs to really have a teeth into that and say, nope, 2 4-year terms and that's it. When you're done with your second 4-year term, go back to your old job or whatever you do. Okay. I'm really tired of what's going on in the House too, and it's ridiculous. It's really stupid. It is on their part. So they need to be yelled at by their constituents. And if they're not going to listen to constituents, then go, okay, if you're not going to listen to what we have to say, since we are the bosses, then they need to be kicked out the door. Okay? Because it's not the first time when something like this has happened in 1871, when both the House and the Senate, they got in trouble with the farmers because they were voting against the farmers' best interest. Well, guess what? Farmers rallied together and they booted them out and get a new fresh set in there that will represent them. There's some changes that need to be done. Now, as far as the sad news goes, well, somewhat sad, but Marianne Trump Berry, she died today. Someone found her dead at her home this morning. She was 86, and she's the oldest child of Fred Trump Senior. What's the matter with you? Loki's having his zoomies. Anyway, she was found dead this morning. Of course, she's been a widow for 13 years or 23 years now because she lost her husband in year 2000. She's gotten to the point where she's a critic of her brother. And she said she used to defend her brother, but she said she's gotten to the point now that she's not defending him anymore. Because now she said she was well aware that he broke some federal laws, and she herself is a federal judge, saying, you know what, you gotta pay the piper. She never really been close to him at all. Okay. But she lived a long life. She did what she wanted to do. And she said her happiest times is when she was in college, where she was away from the household, Trump household, away from her dad and her mom, and she was happier at college. Because she was not being bullied on. And then, of course, she paved her own path of choosing a career as a lawyer and then onto a judgeship and everything else. In some ways, some of her family has respected her for that. But she's never really liked her brother. He said he should have never been, he's not cut out to be president, ever. So, what are you doing, Loki? You saw a black fur go by. That's Loki having his zoomies. Now, another thing, I don't know if you guys heard in the news or heard on Midas Touch Network. Um, the Michigan GOP state party is in bankruptcy. Somewhere along the line, somebody in their finance committee probably did a little bit of skimping. You know, there's the old saying, there's no honor among thieves. Um, Anyway, they gone bankrupt and they showed a committee meeting that was going on. Somebody filmed it. Uh, there was some fist fights and some argument and everything else was going on about the money. And said, well, now we're down to $35,000, which not gonna leave them much for any of the races in Michigan, okay? Because the good majority of the Senate and the House are going to be up for re-election next year. And I hope us, the Democrats and Independents, vote blue and vote blue all the way and push these guys out. The GOP made a big mistake of welcoming Trump into the fold, okay? And he's giving permission to a lot of kooky people on all the conspiracy theories and everything else. I go, this is ridiculous. If they want their own little utopia, they could go out and buy an island somewhere and have their own little nation, okay? Or if space exploration is a little bit more advanced, they should go move to a planet somewhere and establish their own little utopia. I'd rather keep my democracy. I was born in it, I was raised in it, and I think it's a better way to go. Now, in many ways, like in the UK, they're basically a democratic nation, but their government's set up a little differently. There is more of a constitutional monarchy, but they're happy with it. It's, you know, the House of Lords do one thing, the House of Commons, which is the people's side of it, they've solved problems and issues, and they work together, okay? They have several different parties that make up a coalition, make up the government, okay? They don't have really one step majority per se. But, you know, once in a while you'll see their parliament being televised, just watch it. And they do work trying to solve problems and issues that's pressing them at the moment in the UK. So my attitude here is, why can't we do it? Why can't we just get along and solve problems and stop all this foot dragging, which the GOP is doing? They're sitting there on their butts doing nothing. And if they're not going to work, they're fired, like they do out in the real working world. Now, another thing I want to touch upon is this. People are so afraid of artificial intelligence, AI. Well, if you notice, there's a pattern. Anything new technology comes up, you know, like for example, back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, the advent of the car, people were resisting change of that. Advent of computers, people were afraid computers would take over our lives and everything else. Where really, when computers were first established, internet was first established, it didn't happen. We were just trying to make it work. And now AI, they're afraid AI will take over jobs and people's lives and everything else. No. You still have to have human intervention to monitor stuff. Because once in a while, the algorithms or whatever will break down and Software will break down, corrupt themselves if they're not updated, and everything else. President Biden signed executive order covering the rules of AI, what it can and cannot do. There's different uses of AI. If you make it work for you and do what you ask it to, then you'll be fine. I would love nothing more for AI to help on my two small businesses. I really do. Because the algorithms keep changing. You can't keep up with it. So anyway, that's what's going on there. You can't stop change. You can't stop progress. You just have to live with it, give suggestions, and roll with it. And there's always this feeling of intimidation. That's just common. Okay, I'm not intimidated by AI. Okay, I'm pretty much using it now. I'm just saying no. This is, you teach the AI to tailor to your needs. Okay, not it tailoring to you. It's the other way around. So, we'll see how that goes. Now, another thing too that Trump is doing, which is making a big mistake, is bringing out his channels, inner Hitler and everything else. That's not going to work. Okay? People have been around long enough to remember what happened in the 1930s, 1940s, what they learned in school and learned in history. And we're not going to repeat that history, ever. It's not going to happen. Trump is not going to, he's not going to be able to win. I'm pretty sure he's going to lose in the primaries because right now he's got his trials to worry about. And because next spring it's the start of the primaries, and he's got a number of trials that's going to happen, especially in the SIPA cases, the secret document case, stuff case that he did. That trial is going to happen in March. And then you have the Washington, D.C. trial that's going to happen. That one's going to be televised, by the way. And the one in Georgia. Now, there is a fifth state that's looking at indicting Trump, and that is Michigan. Because he was trying to interfere with the elections there as well. So, the GOP themselves, I'm talking about the radicals, the MAGAs, the MAGA rats, okay? They need to learn the rules and learn it properly. If they want to win a race, they need to stop all this crap and start using sensibility and start using proper ethics and proper rules. Because if they try to cheat and everything else, they're not going to win. Ever. Nobody likes a cheater. Okay? I don't like a cheater. Because it makes it hard for you to do your job properly. Sorry, my camera keeps getting bumped. So, yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I'm getting hungry. I need to get my lunch. Get my lunch, and I will post this video on my YouTube channel, which, by the way, it's up to 68 subscribers. I want it to go higher. So feel free to share, okay? Be sure to insist, persist, and push back. Oh, another thing too, on my stores, I'm no longer doing Facebook advertising. I'm going to drop Facebook. I'm still working on them. And then I'm looking at having TikTok do it for me. Facebook is meant to have, without my permission, they have started doing ads on my thing, on my store, and I dropped them from my store. I dropped them completely from that. Shopify no longer uses Facebook because of all the, problems that they had with them. So I deactivated the advertising on Facebook, and I said, no more. You can't charge no more. It's not going to happen. They were trying to charge on my old card. Well, my old card's no longer active, so. But, you just have to watch yourself on this. So anyway, I thank you for watching. I thank you for watching on YouTube, those that you do use YouTube and don't use Facebook. I hope to go live someday on YouTube and then just go YouTube totally and not use Facebook. But today it's running much better, by the way. So I will see you on, let me check my calendar. Yeah, you too. Stay safe. There's going to be some rain coming your way. We had heavy rain over the weekend. Here, let me call up my calendar. Okay, at 1 p.m. on Wednesday. So I will see you guys on Wednesday. And I hope all is well. And I'll talk to you guys later. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit like as well. Okay? And hit like and subscribe on my YouTube channel. Okay? Talk to you later. Bye-bye.